Hey everybody, Cliff Muncie here. Wanted to talk to you today about July 4th. Everybody's excited. July 4th is coming up. We're going to shoot off fireworks and celebrate our independence and our glorious freedom and liberty. I got my poppets here. I'm going to throw them on the sidewalk. Woo! Celebrate the freedom. Okay, so I want to talk about July 4th, okay? Because everybody's, July 4th is America's birthday, right? Okay, well, not exactly. It's not America's birthday anymore. Americans today want to celebrate July 4th because this day, of course, brought us independence from Great Britain. Independence from Great Britain. But America has a new birthday that a lot of people don't know about. And we need to understand about this new birthday because it changed the system of government. It changed everything about our country the way it is today. Healthcare laws, gun control, NSA, privacy concerns, all these things that conservative friends of mine are railing against, and they're trying to get politicians elected. They're trying to get Obama out of office. They're trying all these little solutions to get all these little things taken care of. But all these little branch issues have a root cause to them. And that's what I want to talk about today. And July 4th is the perfect time to do that because everybody's celebrating America's birthday being July 4th. And America today, the America that we know today, its birth is not July 4th. America's birthday today is March 2nd, 1867. Remember this date. So what is March 2nd? March 2nd was the passage of the Reconstruction Acts. This is after the Civil War, where Congress said that certain states were null and void. They sent in the military, and they put new states in place with new governments. Now, of course, some of you might say, well, Cliff, these states they lost the war, right? I mean, this is just the natural conclusion of the war. Well, keep in mind that this was in times of peace. This was after the Civil War. In fact, it was 2 years after the Civil War had already ended, and these states were actually back in the Union. In fact, these same states voted for the passage of the 13th Amendment abolishing slavery. The Reconstruction Acts, in addition to annulling our states and putting military dictators into place, the Reconstruction Acts also forced the passage of an amendment. The 14th Amendment specifically, and the way that they did this was they kept states from being represented in Congress until the amendment was passed, which was completely unconstitutional on its face. So what's the deal with the 14th Amendment? Why would they want this amendment passed so badly? Well, a lot of people say the 14th Amendment gave blacks citizenship. But if you read this amendment more closely, and if you look at the effects of it today, you can see something else going on entirely. All right, let me read just a little part of this amendment. It says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Okay, now this is a changing of the citizenship in America. Okay, this is the nationalization of American citizenship. Now, back when we were firstly citizens of our states, the federal government's power was greatly limited. We were citizens predominantly of our states first, and then we were citizens of the whole country. But it was a different meaning than what it is today. Now, if you're born here, you're a United States citizen, which is a national status, okay? And your state citizenship has very little to do with anything. So state citizenship has pretty much been reduced to nothing. Now, if you keep reading this amendment, it sort of wraps itself in this blanket of love for our life, liberty, and property. But ultimately, this amendment gives power, undue power to Washington. So, all right, let's bring this back to July 4th. Okay, if you're a U.S. citizen, this 4th of July, everything indicates legally that you're a U.S. citizen. Your social security number says you're a U.S. citizen. Your driver's license says you're a U.S. citizen. Your taxes that you file says, I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm proud to be a U.S. citizen, okay? Think twice before you set off the fireworks, okay? And I mean that in the most loving way possible. You can celebrate July 4th if you want, but the America you know today was not born on July 4th. And the government you're under today isn't the same type of government that was put in place in 1776. Okay? Modern America was born on March 2nd, 1867. We call it Dependence Day, because that's ultimately what it did. On March 2nd, the American principles and an independent people, and the principles of self-government, these were snuffed out, giving the United States government a new birth of dependence upon the national government. Now we are dependent upon the national government. We're subject to the wishes of Congress. Now, if you really want to celebrate July 4th, okay, which is great. You can get out your poppets, and you can throw them on the sidewalk, and you can go up and you can get your illegal fireworks at the next state over, whatever. However you want to celebrate your independence, okay? If you've studied these acts and you've come to a conclusion, and you know that these acts were a violation of our Constitution, and you say, this violates the Constitution, and I refuse to recognize that they were what they created, the governments that they created, I refuse to recognize this. If you're going to do such a patriotic move and you're going to stand up against these acts, then you can celebrate July 4th, because you're who it was intended for, a state citizen. State citizenship is what the founders put in place because they believed our government should remain small and be kept close to us so that we could keep an eye on them. And that was just the way they designed it. It was a great design. And they also believed that the federal government should remain limited in its power. I believe that it's our responsibility as Americans to understand what happened in our history to give us this new overbearing government that we see today. So if you want to learn more about state citizenship, you go to americasremedy.com, that's the educational part, and ncrepublic.org, that's the actual battle that we're taking into court. These acts have never been proven as constitutional, and anything that they created, any of these laws, the modern day laws that we see today and that we're fighting against, these Reconstruction Acts have never been proven constitutional, and that's what we're doing. We're challenging them in the court system. This is a resistance movement with a legal foundation. Let's put ourselves back in a position in this country where we can truly celebrate Independence Day. Thanks for listening.